Modern concrete has been with us since the early 1800s. That's when an English mason patented a new type of cement. He named it Portland because it reminded him of the gray rocks found on an English Channel island. We are used to seeing concrete in places like this because of its strength and durability. Architects recognize the design flexibility of concrete and use it in structures treasured for their style. Designers know that concrete will hold any shape for which a mold can be made. Both are using color and texture more frequently to blend concrete with other elements of the structure. Contractors are discovering that decorative concrete equals added profit. What appears here to be expensive slate or tile is in fact concrete, which has been colored and stamped with a texture pattern. The tools and materials used to achieve this look are manufactured by Bond Tool Company. In the minutes to follow, we will show you the Bond way to enhance any traditional masonry so that it makes a dramatic statement and improves property value. This homeowner wanted a patio to complement the traditional federal styling of his home. He also wanted to comfortably enjoy the outdoors in an area that would require little maintenance, yet be sturdy enough to withstand the rigors of a young family. Concrete was the material of choice, and the Bond way was the system of choice. The use of Bond's ashlar-cut stone texture mat gave flair to plain concrete at a substantially lower cost than laying natural stone. And an ordinary backyard became an attractive area for relaxing and entertaining. Here's how. Just as with other concrete projects, consideration must be given to proper slope and loading requirements. Advanced preparation is important with decorative imprinting jobs, so plan the job thoroughly. Also, when texturing concrete, there are additional issues to be taken into account. Consider the size of a single mat when designing the total area to be textured. Also consider the pattern specified. Mats with straight line patterns should be laid out so that the long lines of the pattern run across the line of sight. Doing so will reduce straight line error and provide an overall better appearance. The crew on this job laid out mats in advance of pouring the concrete. By doing so, they were able to determine the best direction for mat placement before texturing began. Generally, patterns run in straight lines even if the design calls for curves. With the design of the patio approved, the forms in place, the surrounding areas protected, and the subgrade prepared, it is time to place the concrete. Follow normal procedures using a conventional concrete mix. A 4-inch slump is recommended. This will minimize the amount of bleed water that will come to the surface, allowing the crew to get onto the concrete faster. Textured concrete has all the basic design characteristics of ordinary concrete and should be placed as specified. On this project, wire mesh is used to reinforce the concrete. Here, a Bond come-along is used to lift the wire mesh as the concrete is spread into the forms. When the concrete is placed, it should be lightly tamped with a tango tamper or a rolling tamper. This will bring the fines to the surface. Next, the surface should be screeded to the specified grade, then floated. This bull float is equipped with a right height adjustable bracket designed by Bond Tool Company. It enables the finisher to maintain a consistent float angle with ease. Use only wooden or magnesium floats and do not trowel at this point. The concrete must remain open so that it can be colored. The shake-on method with Bond True Color Hardener shown in these instructions is one of the two primary ways to color concrete. The other uses Bond's Ironox Integral method, which colors the entire batch by adding a coloring agent while the concrete is being mixed. Both methods have benefits that depend on the size and use of the textured area. Back to the shake-on method. When the excess bleed water has dispersed, the concrete is ready for the first of 2 applications of Bond True Color Hardener. Keep in mind that the first application should utilize about 2/3 of the total material. Reserve a small amount of material for touch-up and anticipate using the remaining 1/3 for the second color application. Because color hardener settles during shipment, it should be fluffed up before it is broadcast onto the concrete. Simply run your fingers through the material, lifting and turning it over repeatedly, breaking up clumps and resulting in a lighter feel. During the first application of fluffed color hardener, try to evenly cover as much concrete as possible. Do not dribble the hardener onto the concrete surface. The first application should remain on the surface several minutes until it has moistened sufficiently. Then work in the color with a wooden or a magnesium float. Wait approximately 10 minutes, then throw more hardener onto any areas lacking color. Now you are immediately ready for the second color application. Remembering to reserve a small amount of color hardener for touch-up, broadcast the remaining material over the entire area. Let it wet out and then finish with a Fresno or steel trowel. While working in the color, be certain to run the tool all the way to the edge of the forming. Keep the concrete flush to the edge of the slab and not forced below the top of the form. Continually inspect the concrete for areas in need of additional color and work it in at this time. Do not overwork the concrete at this stage. 1 pass with the steel trowel or Fresno should be adequate. Excessive working of the concrete will draw water to the surface and reduce the color's intensity. Likewise, do not sprinkle or fog water onto the surface. As in any typical concrete project, the concrete should be edged and control joints should be added into the slab as specified. The control joints can be included in the forming or cut in after the job is textured. Before texturing begins, it is helpful to establish a reference or guideline to ensure that the pattern runs square or parallel to the adjacent structure. This is advisable when using mats with a straight line pattern, such as the ashlar cut stone used on this project.